Welcome to the Choir Directors Academy. I'm your host, Angela Lane. Thank you all for joining me on tonight. I appreciate all of the inboxes and the texts that you have subjects that you want me to cover, and this one is a good one. I had somebody to contact me a long time ago regarding this, and I said one day, I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, I need to talk about this. This is something that we do on a regular basis. We shouldn't do, but we actually do on a regular basis, and it's something that needs to be talked about. But in the meantime, hit the like button, hit the share button for those of you who are on Facebook. For you that are on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and let people know that you're tuning in and that you get something out of these conversations. Hey, Shanita, I was thinking the subject that I picked, it said remembering the good ones. And I was thinking about that, and I said, as a choir director, well, actually in society in general, we give more credence to those who do bad things or wrong things more than we do the people who do good. And we find that in our work lives. We find that even in our churches. We find that in just the world, period. They give more credence to when you do something wrong. We find that among children. Even adults do the same thing. If you have someone that's constantly doing good, and then you have a disruptive person that comes in and do something other than that, and they take all the attention away from whoever the lead person is, it discourages the good person. And like I said, it transcends everything, but we're talking about choir directors. Because a lot of times we wonder why we get choir members get tired and they start dropping off. And honestly, when I sit back and think about it, and I have to catch myself, because I really will pay more attention to somebody that's aggravating me than I would to this person who does everything. You ever notice in the choir, you got some people that just do the right thing all the time. They, I don't care what uniform you tell them to wear, they're there, they wear it, and they do their best. They sing the best. They're on time to rehearsals. When we go to visiting churches, they're there. They're punctual. You can depend on them. But then you got this one or two that's always late. They always late. Hey, Bernice. They just disruptive, they're disrespectful, and the director spends most of their time getting aggravated and talking at them. You even have like some people in the choir, they sing purposely the wrong notes to aggravate you when they know that you're a person that is meticulous about a particular song or something. And I find that even with myself, I have to catch myself. This is a transparent moment. I had to catch myself because I started doing the same thing, focusing on that one person that's aggravating me. And then I got, these good choir members. You got 20 that's doing good, and you got one or two that are not. Hey, Beatrice. So we have to change our focus on that. A lot of times we do that. We need to change our focus on that. And sometimes when you lose the good people, they get discouraged because it's like every time we come, this is all you do. You fuss on that particular person, or you fussing about those who are not there to those who are there. Don't waste their time doing that. And that was something as a young director, I had to change my mindset because I got caught up in that, and it's really discouraging to the good ones. But I was thinking, we have to learn to not only recognize people when they do good, choir members, musicians, directors, soloists, or whatever, recognize when they do good, but also appreciate people. That is something that we just don't do as much as we used to. The world used to be full of people that appreciate, what you do. Now they act like, oh, you're supposed to do it. Well, no, actually, hi, Timothy. Actually, no, they don't. Just like you don't have to be the director, they don't have to sing, and they don't have to play the music. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to do anything. But we have to get back to that, to appreciating people for what they do. It's not, and you know what? It's not all about, even though people play for money, but it's not all about the money all the time. It's really not. It's just you acknowledging that just say thank you. It's amazing to me how many I've seen people in general, how people just don't say thank you anymore. You ever notice that when you're driving in your car, and I'm gonna get to the lesson, y'all. I got it. But when you're driving in the car and you let somebody in, and you remember back in the day, they would throw their hands up and wave at you, or they'll do that, or they'll toot their horn, something like that. People, they don't ask, can they get in front? They just get in there. And then if you let them in there, they don't even wave or say anything. They just keep on driving. And you sitting there like, really? Like, thank you. You know, you drop something on the floor, and somebody picks it up. Say thank you. Acknowledge and appreciate what people do. And, you know, they got this saying about paying it forward. And I think a lot of times we pay it backwards. Because we do things, you know, we get caught up in stuff. And that's the purpose of this show. To, like, make us aware and think about what we're doing. You know, who are we affecting? And when you appreciate somebody and recognize what they do, that's two different things. Recognizing somebody and appreciating somebody is two different things. I can recognize you, but not appreciate what you're doing. I can do that very easily. But I was thinking, to recognize somebody is just to acknowledge their existence. I see you. Hey, Lady of Wisdom, I see you. And as a person, hey, hi. And I just keep walking. I'm recognizing that you exist. To appreciate you is to add value to you. Deatra said, yes, there's a lot, not a lot of, no, there isn't a lot of courtesy. It isn't. You know, add value to somebody. You know, you're adding value. Not only I recognize you, but I also tell you, I appreciate what you're doing. Do you know that goes further than money? I mean, money is good. Don't get me wrong. If you want to bless somebody, go ahead and bless them. Okay, don't turn down. I used to do that, but I don't turn down. When people want to bless me, I receive it. Yes, I do, with Thanksgiving, and I hug them and act like you gave me $1 million. But you have to appreciate people for what they're doing. And I was reading, and it said, if you appreciate something, you recognize its value. So, in other words, to recognize is to acknowledge somebody's existence, but to appreciate them is to attach value to them. And it was saying, and I was thinking, sometimes we focus too much on disruptive people. And we do that. And you know what? The media has a lot to do with how we focus. The media influences us on what we focus on, because all we ever see is the bad. This one did that. That one did, we rarely hear or them promote somebody that's doing something great. You know, if they do a newscast, if the news show is 30 minutes, the first 25 is about all negative stuff. And then they're like, oh, well, we want to show you this glimmer of hope. And they give a 2-minute sound bite of something that somebody doing is great. You know, we want to get away from that. We want to let people know that we appreciate them. Sometimes as choir directors, we vent our frustrations on those who are truly supportive. They come, like I said, they come to choir rehearsal. They always there. You can depend on them. Whatever the choir dues are, they give it. And we focus more on the ones that won't do than we do on the ones that are doing good. And then a lot of times we can also get caught up in that, hey, Ella Rodney, we can also get up, and Calvin, we also can get caught up in being not inclusive. You know, we got these 3 or 4 people. Now, I'm not talking about your leaders. You know, like if you're managing 3 or 4 departments, well, naturally, you're going to have 3 or 4 leaders that's channeling or directing those different departments. But we also, as choir directors, we have to have an inclusive spirit where we invite people to participate. You know, you don't want the choir to think that, oh, I don't have a title, I'm not included. And I see a lot of that, and that's a pet peeve of mine. I don't care if you don't have a title. If you are a tenor, you are important. If you are an alto or a soprano, you are important. It's not about your title. I can care less about your title. I tell people that now. I could care less. Hey, Ella McGee, I could care less about your title if you can't do the work and you got a bad attitude, a bad spirit. And as choir directors leading a group of people, you are a leader, okay? You can't not have that segregated type attitude, my clique. You can't do that. You have to be able to create opportunities for everybody else. Because one thing I'm realizing is being a jurisdictional minister of music or music president, whatever my title is, There are a lot of hidden talents in the group. A lot of people that are sitting there are very talented and they won't say anything. They'll just sit there and wait for you to call them out. Or you just so happen to drive, go to their church and you see them up doing things and you're like, I didn't know you could do that. They just sit in the back because a lot of people are afraid of being exactly. They perceive it as favoritism. They don't, it's like, well, I'm not good enough, or I don't dress enough well enough, or you have to learn how to encourage people. And Michelle says, if your title isn't moving people forward, your title is lying on you. Okay. That's my friend, my fellow alto from St. Louis, y'all. We was in the convocation together. You are absolutely right. A lot of people live for the title. They don't want to do the work, but they want the title. You're supposed to be anointed before you're appointed, okay? That's the way it's really supposed to go. But, some people get appointed and then they try to get anointed, and that's when you mess things up. But I was thinking there are some simple things that we can do to encourage people, and I was thinking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization, esteem, belonging, safety. A lot of people want to be in a choir, and they want to, basically, some people, let's just keep it real. A lot of people get in the choir because they want to belong to something. Everybody, I don't care who you are, you want to belong to something, and you don't want to belong to junk either. You don't. You want to belong to something that is good. Dimitri Pitt said, in some cases, some of them are also attention seekers. Therefore, discernment is critical. Exactly. And I was talking to my mom, who's also a former choir director. She was telling me you have to discern between people who are around you because they have a motive. Their motive is not right. Their motive is to propel themselves to stardom, so they'll do whatever they got to do to be around you in order to get there. You have to have discernment. That's one key thing. And and using that discernment to the good and also to the bad. You know what I'm saying? To help you identify those who are attention seekers, but also to help you identify people who have talents and gifts that can be used in the ministry. Hey, Pastor Bearfield, they can be used in the ministry. Some people just need a gentle push. And they can turn out to be one of the best assets to your organization or to the group that you. And one other thing I want to reiterate. Sometimes we have choir members with us who may not be the best soloists, may not be directors, they may not be musicians, but they are excellent administrators. We have to be able to discern and see that they can do. Because there's so many fun. A lot of people think that the only thing to do in a choir is to direct. Oh my God, I do have to do that class and I'll do it later. But there are so many things that you can do as a person in the choir that can help enhance that choir. You know what I'm saying? To make everybody feel a part. That's what you want to do. You want to always be inclusive to help get people in. But I was thinking, just simple things you do in the choir. And I learned that, and I'm seeing that more and more, that it means so much to people. Number one, just say thank you. When I have the choir, even in my own church choir, but I take and extend it to the jurisdictional choir. When we get through singing, I don't stand around in a little clique and we all just have our little conversation like we all so important and whatever. No, if you an officer, I probably talked to you yesterday. So I don't need to, or earlier before this whole thing got started. So I don't need to be sitting here conversating with you. I need to be going around. I go around and personally tell every choir member, I appreciate you. Thank you for showing up. If it's 30 people, that's 30 hands I got to go and shake or hug or whatever and tell you thank you for coming out. Thank you for singing with the choir. Thank you for participating with a willing spirit. Thanking people, because our state meeting is on a Monday night. So people don't have to come out. Monday night, come on. Beginning of the week, they don't have to come out. But they take the time to show up to sing and hang out for an hour and a half, 2 hours for this service, and they come out and participate with a willing heart. I make it my business just to say thank you. And you know what? The choir increases. Every time I go and tell somebody thank you, then the next time we sing, it's more people. Bernice Wilson said, my mother preached the message, a title or a towel. People want the title, but not the work. Exactly. Demetri Pitts says, there are a number of tasks that are beneficial to the effectiveness of a choir. Exactly. And as a leader, sometimes we get a little slow. We don't write them down so that other people can, so that we can disseminate or delegate to other people. But there really are a lot of roles that need to be filled. And like I said, they may be alto, soprano, or tenor, but we can do more than just sing. And a lot of people think that that's all there is to it, but it's more to it. It's like Transformers, more than meets the eye. But just saying thank you to people means a whole lot. To acknowledge them publicly. It says when somebody on your team does something extraordinary, acknowledge them. I mean, if the alto sounded good, holla out. Alto Nation, soprano. You know, we don't say soprano nation. We don't say tenors. That's alto nation. That's what we do. You just acknowledge them publicly. There's nothing wrong with telling the choir they did good. I know some people that will not tell their choirs they sang well. And I got into the same mode of thinking. I only say something when you do bad. Well, that note wasn't right. And you out of tune. Blah, 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 blah. And the choir can sing the house down. And I wouldn't even tell them, you know, I'm getting caught up. So as a leader, you have to pay attention to those who are around you. If they have negative spirits, you'll bring that same spirit in. Pastor Jones says, how important is it to have the proper director for the proper song? I can't tell you. That's a good point. Everyone is not ambidextrous when it comes to directing a song. What do you mean to let the expert tell it? You can chime in and give your opinion. I'll read it out, Lady of Wisdom. Everyone is, like I said, everyone is not ambidextrous when it comes to directing a song, a particular song. Some people are really gifted to direct slow songs, period. Some people are gifted to direct fast songs. Some people can direct medium. A good director can direct any song. And, you know, they're not making it go over, but they know how to direct and how to pull the best out of people. That is, and it takes skill. That's a gift. You know what? It's really a gift for you to stand before people and the Spirit of God comes to you and it like invokes people or encourages them to sing. I have some directors, they can get up and direct the song and the choir is so nonchalant. They just singing, you know, and it's just like, oh my God, are you serious? But then I can take somebody and put another person up there and the choir just comes alive because it's the spirit of the person first. But then, like I said, some people have a gift. They lean more towards a slow song. Some people lean more towards a medium song. Some people are in between. And then it also, I have to go there, also the life has a lot to do with it. Because if your life is good, then the Spirit of God can come through you. And it encourages the choir. You know, understand what I'm saying? I hope that answered your question, Pastor Jones, because that's my thoughts. The spirit of the director has to be right. I don't care if it's fast, slow, medium, a cappella. I don't care what the song is. The director's spirit has to be right. Number one. Number two, you have to be, when you're right, the Spirit of God comes through. And second of all, you really need to love what you're doing. Brother Timothy said they need to know how to execute the song. Exactly. They need to know, first of all, you need to know the song. You need to be in tune with the Spirit and the song in order to execute it effectively. I know some people, this is me. And Pastor Jones, Rodney Jones can tell you, and Ella McGee as well. When I direct a song, I never direct a song a long time. They always tell me I direct too short because I know, I can tell the energy level of the choir. I know me. And I know it don't take God all day to move through the song. Okay. And basically, when I train the choir, when your first notes that come out of your mouth, boom, should already make a statement. The first words, the first notes, when we sing whatever it is, you get your picture, boom, you should be coming through strong. We ain't got to work up a sweat to get everybody all excited. They excited when they heard the first notes come out of your mouth. Okay, I don't believe in all of this long drawn out stuff. That just because you sing a song for 10 minutes doesn't mean you anointed. You probably making folks sitting there like, would you hurry up? Okay, but when you follow the Spirit and you're directing a song and you're given a song, I generally allow people to pick a song that they're comfortable with, that they've hopefully have practiced and studied, and they're at the point where they can direct. I learn them all. It doesn't matter to me. I learn them all. Okay. I just say, don't, and you know what? I hate to say it, but there is a point where you can over direct over your skill level. You know what I'm saying? And I've seen some people do that. They direct over their skill level. Because you saw somebody else direct a song, you think because Vincent Bohannon does it, that you can do it. No. Okay. That doesn't necessarily mean that you have that skill. You have to learn how to stay with songs, maybe the more simple ones. When they become complex, as you grow in the knowledge of music and you have a deeper connection with God, then you will be able to direct something that requires a little more skills. There are songs like that. Every song is not for everybody, and we need to differentiate between that. There was one more question, say, do you pray about what song you're going to sing on Sunday or just pick songs out? I always pray. Generally, this is my rule of thumb, and it's not gospel, but this is just how I do. During the week, I'm in prayer. I'm in the prayerful mode anyway, because I need to determine. I usually read the Sunday school lesson, and kind of pick songs around that or whatever God puts on my heart. Exactly. You are not Angela. Oh my God. No, man, it's a hard job, right? What I generally do, I just listen, kind of get a feel of what's going on. I try to do a healthy mix, a little praise and worship, a traditional song, a cappella song. I try to pick a little bit of everything. I have a notebook of what we sang the last few Sundays, and I kind of work myself around that. But even while I'm picking those songs in general, I do have a prayer for Spirit, because I'm kind of like, Lord, you already know what's going to happen on Sunday. You know who's coming to church on Sunday. I want to sing something that's going to bless somebody. That's my mindset when I'm doing it. Now, when I get up on Sunday, every choir director should have a plan for Sunday. We always plan. Now, whether we execute that plan, that depends on capital God and his son, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost. You would get there and they may say, no, the Spirit may shift in the service. And then he said, no, sing, thank you, Lord, for all you done for me. Well, I had, my paper goes out the window. It doesn't matter. All I care about is that we bless the people, and somebody that comes in discouraged, when they leave the church, they are encouraged. That's my job. So, yes, I pray as I'm going along, but on Sunday, you also always should have a prayer for Spirit. But on Sunday, when the Spirit calls for something else, I do something else. I hope that answered your question. Brother Timothy said, I pray and seek God for what the house needs, or along the lines of what the pastor is preaching. Exactly. Lady Pitt says, God can change that playing mystery. I'm telling you, there have been times I start singing a song, and all of a sudden, I would just change in the middle of the song, change over to something else. And see, that's why you have to train your choir. I tell them in my choir, I say, you have to be ready. We may be singing joy, and all of a sudden, it'll come across my mind and say, no, keep on making a way. Change, right? Just like that. You have to be in tune with the Spirit. And that's why I say you have to live in a certain way so that you always have a connection with God. So he can use you, because you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what's going to happen. You always want to be in tune for that. I hope that answered your question, Shanita. Lady Pitt said, always be in tune with the Spirit of the Lord. Always. Always be in tune. And you'd be surprised how blessed people will be when you do that. You know, that's why I say it goes beyond the title. You know, I see people, they have in their mind, this is what we sing and this is what we're going to do. I can't follow somebody like that. You can't do that. How you going to do that? It's just like Beatrice. She does her oh, Lord, forgive me, her 4 M's, Monday morning music moments. Okay? She may have in mind of singing something, but then, shoot, you know, she may change because somebody else needs to hear something else. We all have to be that. If you are a music leader, you need to be in tune with the Spirit. When you have with your choir, I got like 4 other things that we can do to let your choir know that you appreciate them. Challenge them with meaningful responsibilities. And that also goes back to the point of discernment. When you have somebody, reward faithfulness. Okay, a lot of times we don't reward people who are faithful. We just leave them in that spot. If you got an alto or tenor or soprano that's really good at singing and they love singing and they're faithful and they're dedicated, why are they not a section leader? Because as a leader of your choir, you cannot be afraid. You cannot be afraid to share the responsibility. You can't do that. You have to be strong enough in your side and yourself to know, and with the discernment, to select people and reward them for their contribution, their dedication, and their faithfulness. You want to do that. Brian says, not to get denominational, do you have any advice for a minister of music that grew up in a small musical and spiritual church, Kojic, then accepted a position at a less spiritual and musical Baptist church? My advice would be, first of all, my first thing I would do is sit down with the pastor of, you know, because I know that's 2 different things. But I would go to that pastor and kind of get a feel of what they want and where he's trying to go. Because one of my friends, he's down in Atlanta. When he left, he was a Kojic director, and he is now over a Baptist church. But they wanted to elevate themselves and come up out of where they were and become more spiritual and more closer in line with the Word of God. So it depends. I would really start back with him or whoever your leader is. Talk to them and find out exactly what they're expecting you to do. Because that's going to be a clash, because you're used to going this way and they may be used to going that way. But if their desire is to turn around and come around another way, then you take that into consideration. Also, you need to learn the climate of the church, you know, and it, you know, basically we are beginning to come the same route almost when it comes to the choir and the way we do things. You know, unless you're part of a traditional church, then the swings may be different. They may be different. But my first thought would be to really sit down with the pastor and find out where what he really expects you to do. Because they may have a particular sequence in mind, and you want to find yourself in that realm, going that route. Then the next step would be to look around within the department and see who's in line with that, with the vision that you've been given. Okay, because it doesn't matter whether you Kojic or whether you Baptist. If you got a group of people working with you who are not in line with what you're doing, you're not going anywhere. And it's only going to breed frustration. Okay, so those 2 things I would definitely do. Sit down with the leader first and get a clear understanding of what he wants you to do. And then find in the group, the choir, the music department that you have, find people who are aligned. Talk with whoever he has in that arena already, in that leadership circle, and get people who are aligned with what you're trying to do, that understand the vision and try to help you get to that way. I hope that answers your question. If not, you can reply, and then that will give me a little more, I can define it a little more. Demetri Pitt said, if you don't share responsibility, you will burn out quick. Absolutely. Oh, my goodness. And I'm learning that even faster with this as a jurisdictional minister of music over a vast amount of churches and singers and musicians. You have to delegate. You can't do it all, but you have to delegate to people who are responsible, who want to be a part, who are not trying to sabotage you, but they're really trying to work with you in order to make it better. Discernment is key. All right. Brian says, true, need to find out where they want to go. Direction is important. This is a church that usually looks for coaching musicians, but they are old school Baptists. Thank you. Exactly. I'm glad that helped you out. That's what you need to do. And once you find out your direction, everybody needs direction. Even when I took the position that I have now with the jurisdiction, my church choir and my church is one thing, but I had to sit down and talk with the leader, the bishop, to understand where you're trying to go with this. What do you want me to do? And that gives me direction, and I'm able to execute what they need. Gifted Hand said, do you think a Catholic church chorister would have difficulty being a member of a Pentecostal church choir? Absolutely not. We have a church here in St. Sabina that St. Sabina sounds just like a regular gospel choir, regular church choir, Pentecostal. I mean, I heard them sing songs just like a coach church or a Baptist church. I mean, you can't tell the difference. No. You know, one thing about choir music, and I've sang with other Reformations, Lutherans, Catholic, whatever. It doesn't matter. Your love for singing is going to shine no matter where you go. Okay, and I've seen with the Catholic churches, and I really don't, I didn't understand everything they did, but I just blended right in. Once I heard the songs, I just blended right in because you have a love for music. You have a love for singing. You have a love for being in the choir. There's no difference. I mean, yeah, you got to get adjusted to how they do things. Their choir rehearsals were different, but it didn't take long for me to get involved because I do love singing alto. And it doesn't matter to me if it's a Baptist choir, or Kojic choir, or in the Denomination. I sing with them all. So, no, it does not affect you at all. If you have a love for singing and a love for music, it doesn't matter. Demetri Pitts is also adding, Brian, she said, also visit the church during their regular service to get a feel for where they are based on where the leader wants to take them. If it's a new pastor, they're already in a transitional period. And those are a little hard if your leadership is in transition, then it's going to be a little harder because they haven't really defined where they may know where they're trying to go, but when they're new, and they're trying to get the church to turn in the direction in which they're perceiving, then it may be a little harder for them to give you direction at that moment. Okay, but again, set up a meeting and talk to them and find out exactly where they choose to go. And he says, agreed, in our region, the lines are still defined. Yeah, they are. There are lines, but one thing I found out in being in as many choir competitions as I have, if you have a love for music, and you have a love for choir singing and, the choir, it is not hard. It is not hard. And I love it. I mean, I love it. I just, as long as somebody knows how to teach the song, don't stand in front of me and don't know how to teach the song. Don't ask me what the part is and I'm looking at you. Even if I got the sheet music, don't ask me what the part is. Let's just roll on with it, okay? Let's just do it that way. Another point that you can do to reward your choir member, and I'm focusing on the good people, okay? Proactively seek their guidance. Ask them what they think. Sometimes, you know what? We don't want a choir full of automatons. Whatever you say, that's what we're going to do. No, I want to hear your opinion. Should we wear this or should we? I'm giving you an option. Come up with ideas because sometimes you're tired. Honestly, I don't feel like thinking about what we need to wear to this. Can somebody come up with a color? And sometimes I do that. I just like, what you come up with a color? I don't have time to be thinking about what we wearing. Just pick a color. Let's go. My mind is on performance. My mind is on what are the acoustics in that place. What's the best song to sing? You know what I'm saying? That's my mindset. We mentor them. One thing, my mom did this to me, and I tease her about it all the time. I said, Mom, you waited too late. Why you sit there and when I grew up in the church, our church, now I'm a Kojic girl, and that's, whatever. In our children's choir, we had quite a few children. We had at least 200 kids in our church. Our church was huge. My mom was responsible for the teenage choir and the junior choir. It was adult, teenage, junior. She had both choirs. And, she allowed, she kind of mentored all of the children. And so she allowed all of the children to direct, to sing, to do whatever, play instruments. And she never called me. My mom whatever teaching she did it while we were all there. She didn't teach me when I got home. She didn't. I mean, whatever rehearsal we had, that was it. When I got home, she didn't review nothing with me. She was like, there's a piano. Do it yourself. I know. But, and at first I thought that was kind of hard. I'm like, man, you my mama. Come on. Help me out. She wouldn't do it. She said, no, you glean from rehearsal just like everybody else. I want this to be a smooth board. Well, she allowed everybody to sing. But the thing was, my mom, after I got older, my mom told me that she knew when I was singing, when I was doing various things, she knew right away what I was going to be. And that's why she didn't let me be first with directing and singing and all of that. She kept me back and let me be on the side doing my own thing. And then, but she let all the other 100-some kids direct, sing, play their instruments. I mean, I'm like, mama, I'm on the drums. She wouldn't let me do. She just let me sit on the side because she could see potential in me. And she knew that once I got up and directed, once I got up and did whatever I did, it was over. You're going to be out there forever. And that is exactly what happened. Once I was like 9 years old and she gave me the opportunity to direct a song because all of the other 100 kids had got a chance. And she gave me the opportunity, and the rest is history. I've been teaching the choir parts, directing, doing it all ever since then. So find choir members that you can mentor for elevated positions. Some of them will make excellent directors, excellent section leaders, excellent administrators, excellent teachers, potential musicians. You gotta get out of yourself. It's not about you. It is about you developing somebody else to come behind you and take that role. All right? You got to be a visionary. You cannot just stand there and say, oh, okay, we're singing this song and blah, blah, blah. No, you need to be a visionary. People cannot follow. People don't want to follow somebody that doesn't have, you don't know where you're going. Why am I following you? Okay? Why? Be a visionary. Have goals. Have a purpose to what you do. Vansha says, my mom was and still is a woman of vision and wisdom. Exactly. You need visionary people around you at all times. You don't need anybody negative. You don't need anybody that's not going anywhere, because that attitude will flow through you, and then you will eventually put it on the choir. Be there when they need you. Sometimes some choir members do have their moments, and we all have our moments. We're human. Okay? I don't care if you saved, if you sanctified, full of the Holy Ghost, and you speak in tongues. You have your days where you just like, okay? Your choir members have the same thing. Now, I'm not talking about folks that just need attention. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the good people, the ones you can depend on, the ones that are there. Make sure you give them the attention and the acknowledgement that they need. Demetri Pitts said, get out of self. You don't want to end up old and on the cane directing the choir because you didn't mentor someone else. Hello, somebody. Vasha, thank you, Pasha. Great post. We need to find and develop and cultivate. Yes, we do. Bernice says your mom gave you the room to grow. She did. Actually, she did. She didn't promote me just because, oh, my mom. Oh, thank you, Vasha. Thank you. My mom actually did that. And I appreciate her. At the time, I thought she was the meanest mama, because I'm just like, this is just not fair. But now that I look back on it, she really was mentoring me in her own way. But she did it. And actually, I turned out to be more than she expected me to be. And she also mentored other young men and women who have now become pastors and first ladies, and they'll tell you in a minute. I remember she was tough on me, and we have such an impact on people. What we do inspires people. I mean, it's amazing to me, even now, how I hear so many young people that were watching me direct when I was younger. I'm still young, but when I was younger, and they tell me today, I was just mesmerized. And I'm sitting there looking at, I don't even remember. I'm like, I don't even remember seeing you. But you have such an impact on them. And some of them now want me to mentor them, help them to develop, to be better directors, to be better singers, be better administrators when it comes to a choir. And you don't see yourself as that, but because I'm not focusing on myself, I'm looking at people and how I can help them. You actually blessing yourself when you do that. You're actually blessing yourself when you do that. So don't be afraid. I see so many choir directors do that. They just hoard everything. They don't want, just like, you just hoard everything. Don't want nobody else to direct. I mean, I'm decent at what I do. Pastor Jones and them telling me that I'm pretty good at what I do. They say I'm a great. I don't know. I think I'm decent. I don't practice as much as I used to. But I mean, I'm not intimidated by anybody that direct. I'm not. I'm just not. I see myself as one and you another person. We all interpret music differently. So in my role, I make sure that I give you an opportunity. I don't care. I'm not losing. You have to look at it as a director. You have to look at it that you're not losing anything. You're a minister of music. You're not losing anything. You're the director of music. You're not losing anything. You're the president. You're not losing anything. It's not taking anything from me. And that's what we have to understand. As a leader, it's not taking anything from you to share with the next person. I don't know why we can't understand that. I ain't trying to be like number 45. Okay? You have to see that your job as a leader is not only to do, they selected you because you've already demonstrated that you can do whatever it is you do. Right. That's why they picked you, because you already demonstrated, I can direct, I can sing, I can play, I can do this, I can do that. You already demonstrated that. So they're expecting you to be at a spiritual level where you would take that time, your gifts and your talents that have been developed to a certain level, that you take that, turn around, find people, and share it with them so they can grow and develop. Demetri Pitts said that's the amazing part. Those people in the audience that have your back turned to are the ones getting the most from you. It's a beautiful thing. Yes, it is. It really is. And you'd be surprised how you inspire people, how you encourage people. And then it gets to the point when you share what you've learned and what you've done with other people, it gets to the point that you don't even have to do anything. Just your presence to be there to encourage. Your presence encourages them. You don't even have to say anything. You just sitting there and they just glad to see you because, and then they'll be telling you gave me a chance. And I'm sitting there remembering, like, I don't even remember. I had one student, young man that I'm mentoring now, and I'm helping him develop his vocal stance. And he was telling me, he said, you gave me a chance. And I'm like, huh? I said, when did I do that? And he told me when and where we were. And I was sitting there I'm not old, but I'm like, I don't even remember doing that. But he said, but you don't know what you did. When you called me out the audience, you told me to come up there and play that song. He said, you don't know when you did that. That pushed me, and I became a real good musician because I never thought you would give me that chance. I was like, oh my God. And, I'm sitting there thinking like, I don't even remember this, but if you say I did it, okay, but you don't realize, I guess that's the point I'm trying to drive. Inspire the good people, acknowledge the good ones. Don't let them sit on the sideline and get discouraged because you looking over there. Look at them and encourage them and push them. And a lot of times if we spend more time pushing the good people, maybe that makes some of the ones that's doing bad come over here and try to do good. Vansha says, say that we all have our own individual gifts and anointing. There is a place for all of us. Absolutely. Absolutely. Every person that God sent in this world has a gift or a talent that should be used to benefit the human race. He didn't send anybody down here to do nothing. Now, you can take it and do whatever you want to do. You can be like the one with the one talent. You take it, I know and I understand the scripture background between talent and gifts, but I'm just using it for an illustration. And bury it and say, well, I'm not going to do anything with it. Okay, we know he's talking about money, but I'm just using it right now. He didn't do anything with it. Okay, don't let whatever God put in your spirit for you to do to bless other people. Do something with it. It doesn't matter if you're not CC whining or whoever. Who cares? Do what God gave you to do to the best of your ability. I have a couple more and then I'm done. Oh no, actually I have one more and this is it. It says allow them to challenge you in the sense, not that they get up in front of you and disrespect me, because I ain't gonna take that. I'm not gonna take that. I'm not gonna take disrespect. I'm just not gonna do it. I'm sorry. I'm anointed, but I ain't anointed to take disrespect. Not okay. Not in my own. No, not in my. I'm sorry. Let me pull it in. I don't want to go somewhere. There is a time and place for your choir members to talk. Never be at a point where they can't talk to you. And that basically that's what I'm saying. Don't be at a point where they can't talk to you. Sometimes, case in point, like I had a rehearsal and we were going over a song and I don't know, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I mean, but it was just like the way I came across was kind of like harsh. And so, everybody, I was wondering why the choir was looking at me like, okay, because that's not me. That's not me. I'm normally, like, hey, I'm like, oh, let's go, the cheerleader type. And one of the choir members, she was nervous, but she came over to me and she was like, can I talk to you for a second? I'm like, yeah. Like what? And she was like, don't get mad. I'm like, get mad over what? What? And she was like, well, when you said blah, 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 she said it kind of came across like we was blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and I didn't know, but she told me, she said, I ain't trying to hurt you or nothing, but I'm just saying, that's just how it came across. And, actually, I was so honored that she did that. I was like, oh my God. She's like, I ain't trying to hurt your feeling or disrespect you. Because she said, can I talk to you on the side away from everybody? And then I came back to the group and I let everybody know, I'm sorry. I ain't mean to come over. And they were like, and then, my choir was like, I ain't think you mean to do it. But we was just like, oh my God. I was like, I'm sorry. Vansha said, we're not stepping stones for disrespect and foolishness. Oh, no. We don't, no, I ain't anointed like that. I'm sorry. I'm just not, I remember back in the day, and my choir has never really been that huge because I just never really deal with a big crowd. My choir, I think the max my choir was 20 people because I always weed them out. They don't like directing a whole lot of stuff. And so when they got disruptive, I was young. And so when they got disruptive, what I did was I started giving them vacations. I'd be like, you know what? You need a vacation from the choir. And they look at me like, are you serious? Take 2-3 months off. Come back to see me when the Lord bless you. And they thought I was playing, but that's what I did. I had to do that for a while till they got the understanding that, open disrespect is not going to be tolerated. Now, I think Brian brought up a point. He said, how do you handle disrespect with choir members? Generally, I take them over to the side. Most of the time, first of all, before I take any new choir members in the choir, I sit them down and talk to them and let them know what I'm not going to tolerate. I understand you don't have the best voice. I'm not worried about that. I'm here to train you to sing, train you properly. I don't care about your voice, okay? What I do care about is your attitude. And one thing I'm not going to tolerate, I will not disrespect you, but I will not be disrespected. If you don't like something that I said, then ask, can you talk to me on the side? And then I'll do it. I will never attack you personally. But, you need to let those things be made known before. And I do that before anybody comes in. But then, you always got those people that's going to try you. And it depends on who it is, how they do it. And when you just outright disrespectful, then I just ask you to leave. And I just put you on vacation. You got a vacation from the choir. And they look at me like, we right before the pastor appreciation. I don't care. Bye. Next, fill in the gap. Move on. There's a point where you try to work with people. The first thing I do is kind of pull them to the side. Like, you got a problem? What's going on with you? Why you, because sometimes I stop and I just kind of look like, something wrong? Do you need the Lord to pray? Do you need us to lay hands? it's different ways, and it depends on the person. And then, sometimes some people did stuff and they were stressed out with something else, and then they apologize. I'm so sorry for doing that. So it's different ways that you can deal with different things. Pastor Gregory, oh my God, Pastor Gregory Freeman was actually one of my mother's choir members. He said, I love the fact that you are a real saint and not inferior to anyone. You inspire leaders to mentor as we lead. Thank you so much, Pastor. He was in the choir. When we were little, he was in the choir. He was one of my mother's choir members as well. Brian Jensen said, open disrespect will not be tolerated. It is not a dictatorship, but this is a relationship with the goal of advancing God's kingdom. Exactly. It's not a dictatorship. You cannot treat choir members like they are like he said, dictatorship, but like this, you belong to me. No, you can't do that. I mean, you have to be firm. You can't be a Millie Mouse, but at the same time, you need to know there is a line of respect. You have to carry yourself with respect, okay? We are here for a common goal, and that's, as he said, to promote the kingdom. That's what we're here for. And we always must maintain a respectful tenure among each other. We must respect one another. We cannot go forward when there's confusion among the ranks. We have to make sure it starts from the leader and it filters down. If the leader is a person that loves God and really wants to do what's right, yeah, you're going to get your ripples in between there, but basically their spirit is the one that's going to really take effect in the group. Your good choir members are automatically going to come in and fall in line. And eventually, I had the same problem, but eventually it's one or two things are going to happen. The ones who were given the problems, eventually some of them left out, and then the other ones just fell in line. They got to come to Jesus moment through much prayer and fasting, Lord Jesus. But they had a come to Jesus moment, and they realized, and one of them was actually bold enough to openly repent before the choir for causing all kinds of problems. They repented. They said, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have been doing that. So, I mean, it's different ways, and God works through, sometimes people, and, one thing I found out is some people are just not used to discipline. It's true. They're not used to authority. They're used to bucking against it. They're not used to working with it. So sometimes you get some of those that are like that, and you have to use discernment and see the potential in the person, because sometimes some people join the choir, they like Apostle Paul. They need a Damascus road, and once they get that Damascus road and they get turned around, man, you be like, Lord, like some of them, I do that to some of them. I was like, man, when you came in this choir, I wanted to go upside your head, no joke. I wanted a Peter moment. I want to take your ear off, because you were just getting on all my nerves. But when God gave them that turnaround, that shondo on the inside, they turned out to be the most dedicated, the most gung-ho choir member. It's like just you turned to be just as good as you was bad. And that really, it's just like, yes, But, I mean, it's all kinds of people that are in there. But what we want to do is we want to bless those who are doing good. We want to lift them up. We want to encourage them. We don't want to discourage them by focusing on the bad folks and what they're doing. We're going to deal with them on another lesson. Yes, Pastor, they need a Damascus, but they need that light to shine on them and knock them out. Okay, and then turn around and go straight. Yes, Lord, that's what they need to do. I'm not here to teach about that, but oh my God, I hope you all enjoyed me on the night. I really do, because I went y'all, your questions had me going all kinds of ways. But I hope you got something out of what I said. I actually enjoyed doing this tonight, but I hope you enjoyed some. I thank you all for joining me on tonight. I appreciate all these pastors on here. I'm so honored. And my faithful friends, my Beatrice and Shanita and Lady of Wisdom. And thank you, Brian, for joining me. First time I remember saying your name, but I thank you for all of the input you gave, and Timothy out there, and so many of you, my Alto Nation friend from the great Kojic International Choir. Yeah. Larry Jones, he says, I got to read what you said, Larry. Hold on. He says, there is nothing better than a tight choir leader, band and singers that understand that they are a single unit. Exactly. Larry Jones, a producer. He's going to be my guest real soon. Yay! So be on the lookout for that promo coming out. I got so much going on in March, but I'm going to get him on, and he's going to give us that inside view to the studio and how we should prepare ourselves to be do a recording. And you want it to be good when you do it. You don't want to produce any slop. Nah, we don't want to do that. Thank God for him being here as well. Thank you all so very much tonight. I'm going to let you go. I got a long night. I got to go to work. Thank you, Bernice. Thank you, Shanita. I am so glad that you all joined me on tonight. Have a good night. Have a great weekend. Get some rest so that you'll be ready on Sunday to do your thing. Good night, everybody, and peace.